live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
That way we can cut it. Should I stop the stream? Nope. For everybody who's watching right now, you're getting to see what happens when we have a mic issue.
First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
All right. Hello. This is Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Dibler. Thank you for joining us. We do appreciate all of you being here and being a part of the show. We are live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, our website, and our app, so lots of places to find us and join the conversations we get to have. Right now, we're going to be talking about Formula E. Yes, all-electric racing, which, of course, came here last year to Portland, to the International Raceway, and now is coming back this year for not just one day, but 2 days. And I got to have a conversation yesterday with two of the people who are very high up in running that event. We've got Kevin Savoree and Nacho Calcedo, and I sat down with them to talk about the success of last year, what to expect this year, and if you've never been to an E-race before or are unfamiliar with it, we go through that as well, just talking about some of the really amazing things that they are doing just with the vehicles, just with the racing, the way the experience is for everyone, so pretty in-depth. We're gonna go ahead and play that for you right now, so let's go right to it. Nacho, Kevin, thank you both so much for being here. You know, to start off, if you don't mind, could you just tell us each a little bit about yourselves and your role here with the E-Prix?
I'm Kevin Savoree. I'm the president of Green Savoree Racing Promotions, and we work with Nacho and his team to put on the Hankook Formula E Grand Prix. So looking forward to that in 2024, just a few months away.
Yeah, coming up. Nacho, can you tell us about you?
So my name is Nacho Calcedo. I'm the host cities director for Formula E, so running some events around the world. So we put in place last year the Portland E-Prix with Green Savoree, and we are here back just to do it again.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I think that's one of the key things here too, is just last year's Portland E-Prix, so successful. And, you know, to give everybody a little bit of context, maybe if they don't know or if they're not familiar and they're still learning about that side of the sport, can you explain the E-Prix just, you know, in the context of the racing world and where it fits in there?
So basically, yes, we are like a world championship under the umbrella of the FIA, so similar to other series like Formula One, the single-seater series. The only or the main difference is obviously that we are full electric championship, so we have zero combustions, and obviously just looking forward always just to sustainability, the carbon zero, the net zero. We are like this since the day zero, as we said, so since inception, and the idea is just to obviously just to do not just leave just the performance of the cars or the sport itself, but at the same time just to make like this laboratory just for all the manufacturers just to go into what is the future on the automotive.
Right, so giving them a chance to, you know, test out and try to build some of these really fast, amazing engines that maybe they're not getting to do in other places. And I would imagine for them too, this is a lot of excitement for those manufacturers to get to do this.
I think that's what racing's always been about for the last over 100 years. Of, you know, it started literally with, think about things we all take for granted, a rear view mirror, a seat belt. Think about those came from racing. And so now obviously lots of manufacturers involved in the Formula E World Championship, and you know, I think for them, they're developing the engines that we'll be using in our cars in the not too distant future, and there's no better place to test them in the really harsh, brutal environment of a racetrack. And you know, again, it's you know, there's no mulligans. You know, yeah. You have a practice session, it's going to start. You have a qualifying session, it's going to start, and you have a race start time, and you got to be there. And I think that's why these manufacturers love to be here. It's their way. It's the way they train their people, their teams to really help develop that technology going forward.
I love that this is really a testing ground, but also just a way for innovation to happen. when it comes to that, because like you mentioned, some of those things will trickle down to an ordinary driver, a rear view mirror, and possibly some of the things that are being developed here for that as well. Looking at it from that side, I think is really interesting. When it comes to the racing side, I'm wondering if you can maybe talk to us, maybe from the driver's perspective, or from the people who are out there racing. What are the big differences between standard combustion engine racing to the e-racing?
So, well, this is big difference basically is that we are, the way that the drivers manage the race is totally different with other series. Obviously, they are not going just flat out all the race, because they need just to do what they did lift and coast, so they manage the energy of the cars, because these cars, particularly our car, the actual car, the Generation 3, regains almost 40% of the battery that is during the race, so the battery that they use is regenerated during the race itself. So it's a bit more on the strategy side. Obviously, we are just planning just to do in the future where we are going to just pit stops with just fast charging, etc., etc. We'll be just coming back what it was, for example, in Formula 1, the refueling, or what they have in other series like Indy or NASCAR, where they have the refueling as well. No, but that's the main difference that we have as of now. Obviously, aside of everything that's related to the sustainability, so the car is made with a lot of sustainability parts, the tires as well. So all these are like parts that has been just sampled coming from recycling. So it's big difference on that, and the cap cost. So it's a lot of things coming. Yeah,
a lot of that sustainability side too. I mean, that's really interesting. So just to clarify there, so they're recharging themselves as they're driving.
So yeah, basically, it's the same again. So all the hybrid cars that we have in other competitions, so they will never go flat out, as we was like all racing school, let's say somehow. So now they need just to manage the energy, and they lift the accelerator, so that the car is regenerate just some battery, so just to get more power later on. So like if they try just to go flat out all the race, they will never make it just to the end of the race. So that's why they play the strategy, and that's why we have so many overtakes at the same time.
Yeah, I love that adds a whole other aspect though to it.
I think that's what the fans really enjoyed so much at last year's Grand Prix, is that literally they, going into turn one, they might be 5-6 wide and all nose to tail, and literally at Portland International Raceway last year, Formula E set a 1-lap record for speed. So very, very fast. And I think that's what the fans came away from, is these cars are really fast. They're fun to watch. It's literally, I can remember just everybody almost on their feet the whole race, just cheering the whole time. And again, I think the fans here, or the festival goers, whatever event goers, they all had a great time, because it's as much about the fun zone that Formula E brings as well. So lots of exhibitors for the fans to enjoy before the race, after the race, and lots of great food to enjoy. So I think it's going to be not just one day, but this year actually 2 days. So that's going to be a great race weekend.
Right, yeah, expanding to 2 days off of last year, and clearly building on the success that you had here. But what do you think it is about Portland specifically that has made it so successful here, that's been such a big attraction?
So well, for me, one of the main things here in Portland is the race fans. Okay, so because it's like they have a huge database of motor fans and race fans. Okay, and when we are racing in other places, obviously when we are racing in the city centers, people is going there just because it's an event happening, but it's not. They don't have this, let's say, knowledge about the racing itself. So last year it was really cool just to see how many people were coming, just to not comparing, saying you're better or you're worse, but just saying like, okay, I didn't expect it was going to be like this, as Kevin said. So like we had the record on the fastest lap ever, the top speed ever, and the more overtakes ever. So we did more than 405 overtakes last year. That means like around 8 to 10 overtakes per minute, and the people was surprised, and we were all surprised that they really like it. And that was this year we decided just to do a double header, because I think we were like we left them with something else that just to enjoy, and we are doing twice this year.
Right. I mean, that's exciting. I mean, even just you describing that, having the overtakes, all
well,
of
and I think too, it gives fans a choice, an opportunity. Come on Saturday, come on Sunday, come both. Because again, it's whether it's football, baseball, basketball, every day is going to be different, right? And so how you unload, somebody else may gain a little bit of knowledge by the time you get to the second race day. And there's some really, really good race teams. Obviously, worldwide names like Andretti, Penske, they're going to be here. The level of the drivers, you know, they're world championship caliber. They're very, very good race car drivers, and you know, their skill sets. There's one area of the track where fans will notice they pull off the line, and that's an area where they can regenerate. And you have to do that once, I think? Or?
Yeah, usually it's like 8 minutes. Well, that's marked by the FIA before the race, but usually it's like this year it has been 8 minutes, and they choose, now they do choose lots of 4 and 4, and 2 and 6, etc. So this coming from the old Mario Bros, when they were just getting this turbo thing. So what they have is the 50 kilowatts more on the battery, and they just allows them they are going out of the fast lane, so usually they are overtook by 2 or 3 cars, but then they have more power, so that facilitates just to
it's
make
just another strategy. Right?
Yeah,
It's
I love
so
that.
fun to watch.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. I mean, probably something, you know, to some extent, anybody who's driven an electric vehicle knows, you know, don't gun it right here, you've got so far to go. But I mean, translating it into something so fast and exciting like that, and, you know, I would imagine with the further knowledge that fans do have of electric vehicles, probably helps out even the enjoyment of the experience.
Yeah, I think one of the things that Nacho and his team walked away from last year is how do we give the fans even more of a race day experience? And so I don't know if you want to talk about like the pit lane experience or the garage experience.
Yeah, so we always just try just to be very, very close to the fans. So we make a huge debrief with the fans. We interact a lot with them. We used to have before a vote for the fans just to give like a 5 seconds boost even to the drivers during the race. So for us it's key because we are a very young championship, but at the same time we are just integrating a lot of young fans as well. No, so. Last year, one of the not complaints, but one of the comments that we have from the fans basically was compared with what they're used to have in India or NASCAR. That's obviously Green Sauber is doing in Portland International Raceway. Is that we are a bit farther for them, and the way the configuration of the track it is, because they have like a permanent wall, is not working the same for us because we need just to do like a remote pit lane and push the cars, etc. etc. This is not the way we usually work. So this year, just working together with PIR, we are just removing this wall. So we are going to bring back our conventional pit lane, so the car will be now facing all the fans. That will allow us at some point just to bring the fans closer, just if we are doing a track walk or a garage tours, etc., because this is what they were demanding last year. So yes, it has been a big effort, particularly from PIR, but also for us, and we've been somebody working on how we are going to do this, and yeah, I think it's going to be a nice experience for them. And this is what they claimed last year. I hope we are going to just achieve what they're looking at.
Well, I think for us, it's just so exciting that Formula E went away and listened and said, okay, how do we work to get, you know, the fans closer to the experience? And so then it was like, he says it really easy. Okay, we're going to move a pit wall. It's not just wiggle your nose. So again, we have a great team that'll come in and help make that happen. And again, I think it'll be more functional for the race teams, and obviously a great experience for the fans. That's going to be really cool.
I think his reply was not like that. When I told him like this, he told me good luck.
Probably the first words are like, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I do think though, just what you just mentioned there too, just that feedback and listening to what the fans are saying, you know, and appreciating that you have knowledgeable fans. They're like, we want this, so we're going to move the pit wall for you, and just taking that in there. And I think that's a huge part of it. So that's taking the feedback from the fans who know and who are going to it. But what about some of these newer fans? Like for somebody who is maybe a new fan and hasn't been to this kind of experience before, what would you expect them to experience walking in for the first time?
So well, it's like if you are a motorsport fan, or even if you are not, okay? So it's a family experience, first of all. So you can just, being that the cars are not noisy, you can bring kids or people from any age. That is not going to be disturbing. The race is not long itself, but everything happens at the same time. So we have the practice, the quali, and the race all in the same day, with some gaps in between that you have time just to go to enjoy with our vendors, to our activations, our sponsors, that they have like a lot of tools and a lot of workshops just to drive them around the sustainability at the same time, to drive them around the motorsport, etc. And I think it's a cool experience. We have music as well in the stage. So for the people that don't know our series, I think it's a cool event just to get immersed in motorsport if you don't like it, sustainability if you are looking at them, technology. So it's many things that can engulf any of the desires or the likes of the people.
I think, again, Formula E did a great job of listening. And so last year, the race day started a little bit later, and the actual race itself was very late in the afternoon. So this year, they've kind of advanced everything to, as Nacho was just saying, like the practice is going to be kind of mid-morning, qualifying late morning, and then the race is like at 2 o'clock. So 3 o'clock, done. You can go have fun with the rest of the day. You can, walk around to see the exhibitors, the fan area. So again, I just think it's another great way to improve the fan experience. And I think for me, it's just amazing to see something that fast go by, and what you hear is whoosh. it's just so incredible from a technology standpoint to go, that just went by at like 170 miles an hour, and it's just impressive, right? And then when you think there's 4 or 5 of them side by side, and they're all mad to get to the same point at turn 1, it's so cool to watch. And then again, I think Nacho shared a little bit about the fan exhibit areas, and just so many great exhibitors and manufacturers and so on, that it really talks about what the future is going to look like. Like, it's a cool way to spend an afternoon.
Absolutely. I mean, in combination, like you mentioned, technology, if you're into sustainability, you've got that, and seeing how all of that's being utilized. You mentioned so many other parts of the vehicle that are, sustainable, and then also fan-friendly experience.
Absolutely.
And the noise, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, it's not, you don't have that standard, loud noise where you're going to need some earmuffs for the kids.
It's a particular noise, let's call it. Okay, like it's still making noise, obviously, because with any vehicle that is going like 170 miles an hour in last year in Portland, but can just achieve up to 200 miles an hour. Even if it's passing with the flooring, with the blocks, etc., it's always going to make noise. It's a different noise, but again, so it's like it's quite particular, and I think it's for all the fans that are going to come. If they didn't come last year, they should come just to see this year. And if they came this year, come again and just let us know if what we are doing for you is what you asked for us.
I think the thing too is, for Portland, it's this magical, fastest city park in the world, and it's here in Portland, Oregon. And I can remember when we were talking about opportunities in North America and why Portland, and you think they typically race in a downtown environment in a temporary circuit, and so for them to race on a permanent road course was very different. And for us, it's why Portland, and you look around and it's evergreen everywhere, and Mount Hood's in the background, and there's rivers running by, and before you know it, it's a pretty cool city park and a pretty cool setting. So so proud for us here in Portland to host a World Championship event. It's pretty cool.
It really is very, very cool. And let's remind everybody too, you mentioned 2 days this year. Can you give everyone the details just on that, the days, and how they can participate and join in on this?
So we have 2 days. So it's the Saturday 29th of June and the Sunday 30th of June, with a small free practice that we will do on the Friday. But and the most important days are the Saturday and the Sunday. Both days works totally independent. So it's one race on Saturday, one race on Sunday with their own quality each day. As the race we said is going to be at 2 o'clock, and everything happens in the same day. We start early, so we start with the free practice at 7:30 in the morning, and we just have the tickets on sale since December. So it's going really well in terms of the sales, and you promote the sales.
Come enjoy the weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun. Obviously, weather here at the end of June couldn't be better. So just come enjoy the day.
Yeah, and try, if you've been out there, you know what this experience is like, and you're going to get to see some of the changes that happened. And if you haven't been out, this, like you mentioned, this is a really cool event that's right here in Portland, easily accessible, that people can go check out. So to both of you, thank you very much for coming in to talk about this. I'm really excited now to get out there and check this out, and really looking forward to it.
Greg, thanks so much for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. So again, taking a look at Formula E, which is going to be coming back here to Portland, as they just mentioned. So really exciting and looking forward to it. And thanks everybody who's joining us here for Fox 12 Now. Again, we are live here every weekday, starting at 1 p.m. if this is your first time joining us. Thanks for doing that. And you can, of course, watch these episodes afterward, watch all the segments and different conversations we get to have afterward at KPTV.com or with the Fox 12 Oregon app. Both great ways to catch all of our content and everything else that we do here at Fox 12 Oregon. If there's ever breaking news between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m., I will be here. We will bring that to you and let you know what's going on. So make sure and pay attention if you get one of those push alerts or alert that shows up on your phone. It's usually something important that we'll let you know about. But I think that's it for right now. So again, thanks for joining us. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now.